So there seems to be a lot of interest about Fisher space pens or Fisher pens, or whatever you want to call them, on this channel. So I figured I'd do a quick survey of what's out there and deliver my thoughts. Here are my Fisher pens. It's a wide range. Obviously, I've collected a number over the years, and they vary in price basically from about $7 up to about, call it $37, and these are street prices. So a lot of different variation between the two, or between the models, and figured it'd be worth covering them. First of all, we have the classic. This is the Fisher AG7. This is the astronaut pen. This is like the one that went into space in 1967 or 68, something like that. You could do the research on your own, and I really love this pen. It's got a beautiful design, an amazing click, one of my favorite clicks of any device. It's a little bit back heavy. I don't think it's super well balanced, but it's just a great pen. And again, it has a retail price of about 60 or something, but you can buy them all day long for about 37, 38. And this is, again, the iconic pen. Next, we have the CH4. And the CH4 is very similar to that AG7 we just looked at. It's a little bit cheaper. You get these for about $30. And the design elements are very similar, but it doesn't have that big taper that the AG7 has. So the shape is not as iconic. You do get a similar click mechanism, which is you click down and send it back with this side button. And it's, you know, it's the chromed brass. It's all that different clip, and again, you don't have that iconic shape. For everyday writing, I actually prefer the CH4 to the AG7. It's just better balanced. Next up, we have the bullet pen, and this is probably, as far as like everyday carry and just like day-to-day pens that people buy from Fisher, this is probably the most popular one. Sold in a bunch of different varieties, but this is the matte black one with a clip. So basically it's super tiny. Here's it relative to CH4. You can see it's like, you know, 75% of the length. This is like the sort of, I don't know if it's called the police edition or military edition or what, but it's got that nice all black design, and it has a clip, which is super handy. The clip looks to be a little bit bent in, which that's how it came from the factory, but super minor. I could fix that. And here's the pen itself. And you just post it, and now you have more length, a full-size pen, more or less a full-size pen. Maybe it's a little bit short, but it's definitely a nice pen. This is the sort of pen, I don't think I would use this pen every day. Actually, I don't use it every day, but this is something you could throw in a bag or throw in your pocket, and always have a good ballpoint pen handy. And that sort of is like the main use case for these Fisher pens for me. That Fisher PR4 refill, which almost all of these use, this one does not. That PR4 refill is the one that writes upside down. It writes in negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It writes up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. It writes at any angle. It writes underwater up to 35 feet. So you throw one of these in your bag, and pretty much anything that you want to write on, short of glass or, you know, above 250 degrees, you're going to be okay to write with, rather. And again, this one is the bullet pen, whether it comes in black or chrome or all gold or whatever. It's one of the most popular options. Here we have one that I think is really, really undervalued. This is the Matic. This comes also in a bunch of different designs. It has a metal top. It's very light. Plastic bottom. Again, it's really light. It sells for maybe $8, and it's a click pen. Doesn't have that iconic design. Doesn't have, you know, the astronaut seal of approval or anything like that. But it's a really solid pen, and I think this one should probably get more credit within the sort of, again, that everyday carry option. Or just like you need a pen with you, you need to write on something, this is always going to get the job done. And the crazy thing about this one is it uses that same Fisher refill, the PR4. So basically this is a refill that lasts for a very long time, writes on anything under pretty much any conditions, and it sells for about $6 on its own. If you buy them, you know, more than two, you could get them for $5 each. But this is an $8 pen with a $5 refill. it's a pretty solid deal. I don't think that math is going to work out too many other places. So it's actually a fairly comfortable pen to write with. It's not as poorly balanced as you might expect given the plastic body and the metal top, because this metal top is so light. Definitely something you can throw in a pocket or a bag and get the same job done as this bullet pen. I actually prefer the Capomatic. Again, this one, like all Fishers, comes in a bunch of different designs. So you can buy this one in a full matte black if you want, or a bunch of different colors, what have you. This one is an interesting one, and again, this one is not very popular if you kind of survey the territory out there. And this is it's called the Fisher Space Pen, obviously, and this is called the ST Space Tech pen. I'm not sure it's technically called ST Space Tech or just the, ST stands for Space Tech, who knows. But it's a plastic pen, plastic body, plastic tip, plastic clip, plastic button, all plastic, retractable, kind of a muted click. And this is a soft touch material, sort of like the same as like a ThinkPad or a laptop or some fancy book covers. It's not too grippy, but it's definitely not slippery. It has these kind of grooves here for grip, and that's carried forward to the front. Okay, click, plastic clip. It's a little bit disappointing. This thing is probably gonna break sooner or later, but it's got some sturdiness to it. And the interesting thing about this pen is if you look at the Write in the Rain pen, which is a really popular pen, everyday carry, write anywhere type pen on Amazon and other sellers, that seems to be the same as this one. The Write in the Rain all-weather durable clicker. It looks to be the exact same as this. I don't know if Fisher rebranded their pen or Write in the Rain rebranded a Fisher, who knows, but they look to be identical. And if you open this pen up, you see that very standard PR4 cartridge, so it's gonna write anywhere, including in the rain. And this pen sells for, do a quick price check, sells for $10 even. So similar price to the Capomatic. It just has like a little bit more outdoorsy, grippy type feel to it. So if you're gonna write in gloves or something like that, you probably want this Space Tech. Whereas if you're writing inside or you don't worry so much about the grip and you want something that's definitely better looking and less technical, the Capomatic is probably the one for you. Lastly, we have this line of sort of strange pens, and I bought it just kind of on a lark, because I didn't know what the heck it was. And it is a Fisher Space Pen, and this one actually has silver ink, which I didn't realize until I bought it. It sells for about $6. It has this like crazy geometry or crazy design where the clip is really stubby and short and in the middle, and it doesn't use a standard Fisher cartridge. It uses this thing, and this one is actually really cheaply made. Sells for about $6. It writes in silver for whatever reason, and just try to check the price. And this is like designed for like writing on gift cards or something like that. It's called the Fisher Space Pen, obviously silver Space Pen, bold point, and again sells for $6. It's actually sold in other colors, and again I totally bought the wrong one when I got this. I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on with it, and you know what, I think it's just a specialty pen, and if you want to write in silver ink for some reason, you can. And we'll see this. Here's it next to a standard Fisher. So it's certainly silver. Not really of much appeal to me, but it exists and it's highly affordable. I believe it's sold in other colors, but this silver seems the most popular option. So yeah, that is my quick survey of Fisher Space Pen as a company. I'm gonna just throw this thing aside, which it's a little weird. We have these two are definitely in a class by themselves. Then we have the Bullet in a class by itself, and then these two. So I think it's, you know, if you're choosing one of these pens for yourself, if you need a pen just for knocking around or everyday use, you could probably take a pretty quick guess and know which one you want. We have these two, which are sort of classy pens, more for pen and space geeks, sell for $30 to $40. The bullet pens sell for about $20, and these guys would sell for about $10. So 30, 20, 10, and then it's just a matter of picking what you want to use it for. Throw it in your bag or throw it in your car. Always have something to write with. Bullet pen is a no-brainer. Something a little bit nicer, keep in your pocket, but you know, or keep in your bag and use inside. We have a matic, Space Tech, outdoor use. Again, these guys for probably in the office use, or you know, if you're someplace where you want to look professional, but you're gonna have to write outside sometimes, like I don't know, like you know, on a submarine or someplace where it's adverse conditions, but also you have to wear a tie sometimes. Maybe you want one of those. Again, these are just cool pens for everyday use though. And I did some videos about how to get a gel refill in these if you want a really cool, classy looking pen, but you don't need that ballpoint. You want something that writes a little bit smoother. So anyway, leave your comments below. I'd be curious to hear how people use these. Obviously, they're super iconic designs and they're, you know, relatively affordable, especially if you're gonna go with a matic or I know a lot of people buy these bullet pens. Thanks for watching.